Hello, 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 travelers. Welcome back to another episode of Le Interview with Le Vampire. Thank you for coming back once again. I saw all of the comments of concern in episode 2. Fear not, everybody. I am not. So I said what I said, not to like backpedal and backtrack on my assertions and opinions, but I was just making some points of clarification. But no, a lot of you guys came to my defense, guys and gals came to my defense. We're like, hey, don't worry about and I love this terminology, by the way, the Lestans. Amazing. Basically, everybody in the comments, I was worried about how I was going to be perceived. Everybody in the comments was like, embrace who you are, movie man. To be fair, I don't think anybody's being particularly toxic. And I'm not used to this many comments and this much engagement on reaction videos. And some people are even saying, hey, don't read the comments. So just so that you know, the way that like the YouTube dashboard works, especially because I'm very like my anxiety has me always constantly checking and refreshing and obsessively looking at the stats and numbers and whatnot. So I see the comments as they come in, and I'll I'll review every crop of new comments and kind of see the general consensus. But I don't know if I'm going to have time to respond to everything. I respond here and there, and probably when I'm caught up with both seasons, I'll like comb back through and go through it. But as a general, thank you to everybody who's watching. Thank you for all love and support as usual. And just to clarify this, by the way, I'm still enjoying the show. I am letting the tale seduce me, as it were. I'm falling in love with it gradually. Contrary to some people's belief, I do like the characters of both Louis and Lestat. Like, just because I'm calling out Lestat doesn't mean I don't like him. And then I know what you're thinking. Some people were like,
Movie man, excuse me. So it's okay for Louis to murder people rampantly, and for him to have his problems, but Lestat can't have any, and it's
no, 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 no. Child, sweet child of mine. That's not what I said. I'm partial to Louis naturally as the narrator and the storyteller. Again, there's going to be some bias there, but I've spent more time with Louis. He is not a perfect person. I've called him out too. He said he was a rougher thing back in the day, but I've called him out because clearly he still has some angy issues to this day and throughout his life. He's not a paragon of like peace and justice. I will call out whoever I see, even if I like them. Almost said Romulus. Roman Roy from Succession. There's no spoiler or anything, but he very well, I think, is my favorite character from Succession for very, very, very complicated, layered reasons. And a lot of people can't stand Roman Roy, but but he speaks to me on multiple levels. So like with this, I'm not gonna stick in the comments too much at the moment, but I will say that I admit, even I've noticed it while I was editing the last one, I have been pausing even more than I normally might in a series like this. So I'm going to make a slightly more concerted effort. I know most of you love the pausing. We all love the discussion. I'm not pulling back in the discussion, but I want to let scenes play out, and I want to try to pull back. I just get excited and I want to say something immediately in the moment. So there's still going to be conversation to be had, and this is a reaction and whatnot. It's not just a let the episode play type of deal. Per a couple of requests, I've turned the transparency down a tiny bit on the actual like the video you'll be seeing on this. I keep forgetting how dark this show is, so I can't have my shirt be like too loud, too bright. Last little thing before we hop into this, I gotta shill myself because I want to provide more content for you guys and gals, but also I've had people want to support me in the past. I appreciate the generosity. Not only have I officially launched my Patreon, if anybody's interested, link down below. I'll throw it up here to show you, but the Patreon basically is going to have several tiers, and I'll make a whole video for it at some point. But the long and the short of it is that if you want to be able to watch my content without ads, I don't know if you have YouTube Premium or not, I'm going to put all episodes of content I've done, like reaction style, over on Patreon, all unedited, undoctored, uncut, uncensored, the full enchilada, basically. The backlog of old shows that I've watched, current shows that I am watching, and then there's higher tiers too. And if you choose to subscribe to it, you can even request me to I watch certain movies, full movie reactions I'll post over there specifically for members of the Patreon page, and then we'll see where that goes from there. But if you want to, no pressure at all. You just being here is enough in itself, but I got to at least put it out there and like sell myself. Also thought it was funny that some people were like the people are speculating that I'm a vampire. Look, man, I I can't help it. I always forget. I forget that I have like fairly large canines. You know, just I.
What can I say? I just
Episode 3 is my very nature that of the devil. And it's been interesting to see the conversations. I have a certain amount of sympathy for Louis, but at the same time, like, what did he expect when he was signing up for it all? But at the same time, it's one thing to be given the sales pitch and sign up for it. It's another thing to then be, okay, I'm committing to the whole vampirism and all that. And I remember I had a question about like mind reading, and people in the comments, a few of them clarified, basically saying that vampires, for the sake of this show, they can read minds of people, and then vampires can like kind of perceive each other's thoughts and send each other's thoughts. But if you turn somebody, because it's the whole comment about, you know, the price of being, you know, the architects of our own creation, and they become your fledgling, then the price you pay is that you can't read their mind. It seems to be what it is. So there's just some like minor caveats in the like the powers and rules and all that. Oh, couple juicy targets.
There's a column in here about the history of this lovely square. It says that the man who designed it did so after the Place des Vosges in Paris. I can't see that.
Used to be called the Place d'Armes. I prefer that, don't you?
Mm-hmm. The Louisiana Purchase was signed too.
Is that right?
Pennywise, Frank Foolish.
Say anything about how they used to take runaway slaves, cut their heads off, and pike them on the iron gates as a warning?
I'm only halfway through, let's see.
Do you ever think that we, that's to say our kind, were put on Earth for a larger purpose?
I put you on this earth. Your purpose is to enjoy yourself.
That can't be all there is.
It's interesting. I do like Lestat and how absorbed he is in the arts and the history of the area, and he's trying to like actively learn and such. But it's funny how Louis is literally asking him just now, like, do you think we're here for a higher purpose? One episode ago, Lestat was literally, we get to help human beings transcend this mortal coil and experience their state of mind and consciousness in those moments before their ultimate demise and death. So I thought Lestat was selling himself as like, we are the ones who separate the wheat from the chaff. But now he's changing the narrative and he's saying, you exist to enjoy yourself, as I do, Louis. I wish he had come out the gate with that, that mentality. I agree more with that.
I know you don't believe that.
Well, tell me what I believe, Louis. Excavate the hearted thoughts buried beneath my damned soul.
We can eat animals and be okay. Rats, cats, cattle.
Is okay what you desire, Louis? Shall we walk the night as the gods of easily attainable dreams?
I desire blood as much as you do. But I wonder,
These suits.
should we be more selective?
Yeah, exactly.
Only the redheads, the humorous. Define your terms.
The worst of them.
And how
The
would we
worst
go
of
about
them.
determining
Yeah,
that?
like Dexter.
You lose our powers. Read their minds.
Hunting is pure instinct. Reason is a set of leg irons.
The ones you admire. The poets, composers, the...
He makes it sound as if this is going to be constraining when literally he's been preaching to Louis about you have to restrain yourself and be careful how you do it. I know I'm nitpicking, but it's these weird contradictions of like, first while he's literally training his fledgling, he's like, okay, there's an art to this and a process to this. You have to be careful and you have to be selective. And now he's like criticizing Louis for being too selective.
thoughtful man who designed this park you love so much. Shouldn't we spare them the randomness of our killing?
Every one of them is capable of abomination, even the ones worthy of admiration. Shakespeare, Brahms, this naturalist that...
So are you.
Got it off your bookshelf.
Toss them into circumstance. Whisper to them their Lord God and Savior is not listening, and you will see all kinds of depravity.
They came from apes. We
Nihilist.
came from them. We should be better than they are.
I
Yeah.
refer to them as they
I like
to get on
this.
my better side.
Try something for me. Want to share?
I like this. It's crazy how my opinion is like slowly turning one way or the other, but I go from criticizing and being hypercritical of Lestat in like I was intrigued by him in episode 1. I was hypercritical of him in episode 2. As Louis settles into this role, I like the dynamic that's playing out between these two characters. I like their chemistry and all of this. I do slightly empathize with Lestat Funny enough, I went through a long period of time, the better part of a decade, if I'm being brutally honest, where I was just not in the best headspace, and I still to this day struggle with depression, and like I have depressive spirals here and there. I'm better off now between a mixture of like seeking therapy, utilizing the support systems I have in life, and also literally changing my mindset and my way of thinking and how I live life and all that jazz. But with Lestat is very much more how I used to feel, which is that of a nihilist, where I used to have this like constantly like rotating, churning thought process cycle of most people are terrible. Life, you have to find your joys in life, but life is barely worth living and it's all pointless. We might as well just try to take the pleasures we can, sins of the flesh. If I were a vampire, I would have been probably in his exact same shoes, some like bourgeois aristocrat who didn't give a damn like who he was killing as long as he was just killing like who he wanted to kill.
Say we come upon a murderer planting a flower bed thinking only of flowers. How long do we wait before his bloody deeds reveal themselves?
As long as it takes.
You haven't thought this through, Louis.
You said you would try.
Come on, do it for him. Uh-oh.
Only another mile.
So
Oh, no.
inebriated, he's worried he'll urinate all over himself.
He's just a drunk.
$18 in a dresser. She ain't never gonna miss it.
Stealing from his mother for a new suit.
Petty larceny.
Starts with a suit, soon he'll be knocking over banks.
Who are you, the fucking thought police?
Ah yes, it's the angel of starvation passing over us.
Oh my god.
Stupid people.
Stay stupid.
Everybody's so stupid.
Him. He steals from unfortunates, breaks into tenements, and robs them of their meager possessions.
And does that meet your satisfaction?
Oh, Jesus.
If you don't mind the shaking, I've snapped his spine. It's merely his nerves spasming. Well, go on. Use your criminal biscuit. See how it tastes.
Jesus. Oh my god.
For your reason or his heart fails us.
Still not the humans. Still can't do it. It works for the sake of comedy, but it's funny how once again, like Lestat is preaching how he has to be careful and be selective, but it's kind of the middle of the night, but just in broad open street, just to grab a guy and drag him into an alley and paralyze him and like keep him alive to feed. Isn't that kind of risky? Call me crazy, but just a little bit. Even though literally Lestat went by Louis' terms, he wants this to work with Lestat and he's trying. And by trying, he's like, okay, well, I can't kill the way you kill. Like human beings, it's just, I can't get there. But even approaching it this way under Louis' terms, Lestat's credit, he went along with the idea and is trying to help Louis, but Louis still can't get there to that feeding and killing human beings. So that does track with current Louis and Malloy at the table with Din Din, because the only things he's killing, the animal that he fed on, he killed, and then he had like a human being that he fed on but didn't kill. So he said the last human I killed was in the year 2000. So I'm sure that will be a very poignant moment for him as well when we get there. It's funny though.
I've got some good news, honey.
You're angry.
I'm pondering.
Disappointed.
Pondering what?
Your night had nothing to do with ridding the world of criminals or finding some morality to buoy your existence.
He's trying to find his own
You're ashamed
way.
of what we are.
Maybe I'm just pondering what I am.
For the infinitesimal time. You're a vampire.
Could you not use the word in my place of business?
Oh,
Place
no.
of business. A cover. An illusion to throw off the scent of the dogs.
This illusion is fronting a dozen businesses up and down Claiborne.
Yes. For every 20 people he kills, he makes one small businessman's dreams come true. Louis de Pontelac, the Dark Prince of Iberville.
Dude, a man's got to make a living. Why he's so like critical? Yeah, like he said, he's pondering his existence. He's trying to figure out his way through this brand new world. And then Lestat's just like, he has these moments of patience and these moments where he's like entertaining Louis' ideas, humoring him in certain moments. But I feel like Lestat is still like rushing him through the process. And he's like, come on, get on my level, mon cher.
I don't want to kill people anymore.
Well,
There it is.
A fish that doesn't swim. A bird refusing flight.
Is it so crazy?
You're going to struggle. I fear for the feline population of New Orleans. Your pianist has lost his passion.
What?
Mr. Martin, you have played the same melody the very same way for 2 weeks now.
Oh,
your
no.
talent is immense, but your mind is elsewhere.
Think you could do better, Jack?
Well, I'm not being paid a small fortune on top of that tip jar to perform. My skills are irrelevant.
People didn't come here to hear you jabber, Mr. Linecourt.
Well, they didn't come here to hear you play either. Otherwise, you'd be in a concert hall and there'd be fewer prostitutes.
Yikes. He has a habit of doing this, man. I mean, I get it. Like, he's at a point in his long immortal life where he truly does not give a shit. But man, come on, so cruel.
What kind of music?
You can pretend you're a vegetarian. I can pretend the fool.
I can pretend the fool.
Be my guest.
Oh boy. Oh, what's he
For
gonna
our
do?
boys being shipped off to Europe. Know your enemy.
I do love his hair that way, though. Oh no! Boo!
Didn't that get your dick wet, gents?
Where do you limit, Mr. Martin? What you hear is genius.
All I hear is a man that's never gotten his dick wet.
Wow, that's very, very, very creative. Do use the dick wet insult twice in a row.
Actually, the man had 20 children in his lifetime, and you're sort of stuck on that wet dick zinger, Ferdinand.
That's what I was saying.
It's like your left hand on the piano. Little walking patterns, isn't it?
Oh, oh, there we go. Oh no. But they should, even though he was playing actual like the sophisticated music and the artistry and all that, he's like, oh, but no, I play the honky tonks, as it were. I play the hokey le hokey pokey. Damn show off. Come on, let's play it together. Come on, yeah, there we go.
He
See?
admitted later there was nothing wrong with Jelly Roll's playing. Only something he overheard in an alleyway, a steady gig for the band in Chicago. Jelly was gonna leave me high and dry in a few days, and the start took umbrage. If I'm not mistaken, he improv'd the melody for what would later become the Wolverine Blues.
Wait, whoa. Hold on there. You're saying Lestat wrote the Wolverine Blues?
I can't be definitive.
The Wolverine Blues. Why are they Wolverines here? What's going on? Wolverine Blues is the third studio album by Swedish death metal band Entombed, released on 4th October 1993. And he's saying what, the melody? How did he phrase it again? Wrote the Wolverine Blues.
You can imagine what time
Yeah, I did the same exact thing.
To the minute details.
This.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, you know, I gotta say, it's not so much the minute details, Louis, rather the total rewrite that's giving me pause here.
Am I looking up the right thing here? Oh, for the jazz song. Oh, I missed the beginning. Wolverine Blues is an early jazz standard by Jelly Roll Morton with lyrics by brothers Benjamin Franklin, Reb Spikes, and Johnny Curry. Okay, oh, Jelly Roll Morton. I was wondering. I was like, something's not tracking here. There we go. Bunch of people were about to type a comment down below or like backspacing real quick.
He was a sow's ear out of which nothing fine could be made. I was his complete superior, and I had been sadly cheated in having him for a teacher.
2022.
It was a cold winter that year, and Lestat was my coal fire. And I found myself for the very first time, to anyone other than Paul, confiding my struggles to another man.
San Francisco.
He appeared frail and stupid to me, a man made of dried twigs with a thin, carping voice.
Fascinating.
Goodbye.
Like night and day. Like night. What take are we supposed to? How are we supposed to interpret this? The first interviews were like done out of spite, and now he's gained some type of like, he's more self-reflective nature, and so he's speaking more to truth, or maybe he's ultimately romanticizing the past now. Like, it could go either way.
I had never allowed myself to feel emotionally close to anyone, much less a man. Lestat had surrounded me. The version we speak of now is the more nuanced portrait.
Or the more rehearsed.
Perhaps I was mistaken about the Wolverine Blues.
The Wolverine Blues.
Even right there. What? What is this? The more nuanced version or the more rehearsed, bro? Ooh, I don't like it. I can see that though. This is all was arranged by Monsieur Dupont du Lac himself. He called him back in. He set him up in this place. He had years and years to think about this, and literally he's probably been mulling it over for ever since they had their first interviews back in the day. Curiouser and curiouser. Now that I'm 3 episodes in, I would have put it together at this point either way, but unreliable narrator, question mark. Like, what's the truth? What's embellishment? What's fact? What's fiction? What is his end game? Because Louis claims that like he wants to set the record straight now that we're both more mature adult men, and he feels he didn't do justice to the story before. What could he possibly stand to gain? And then like even if Malloy publishes this, like literally it's if unless you're publishing it as an Anne Rice, like a fictitious story, that type of deal, right? Like what you're gonna say this is somebody's like biography?
Ken Burns can choke in the footnotes. It's the abused-abuser psychological relationship I'm talking about.
I do not consider myself abused.
I mean, usually when you're a little too close to it, the abused still loves the abuser. But you flipped it completely on its head.
I'm not a victim.
50 years later, you talk like he was your soulmate. Like you were locked in some up gothic romance.
It sounds like the comment section. Sorry,
I am in my Buick, staring in the rearview mirror at my daughter in the car seat, an hour after I gave Derek, a guy I don't know, the last $30 I had. My editor reminds me it's 7 years before car seats are mandatory. My ex-wife reminds me I never owned a Buick. This is the Odyssey of recollection.
Well.
The tapes are an admitted performance. This is the premise of our interview, half a century later. Allow me my Odyssey.
Embellishments and all, huh? Okay.
Now who's performing?
Petty. I love it. Fascinating. Oh, the writing. Again, we're back to that. I love that expression, man. So many really interesting expressions. The last episode when Malloy was talking about, like, we forget, but our memories don't. And then the Odyssey of recollection, where things aren't always, I mean, yeah, he just pointed out it works. It can work not just with me, but anybody in general. Like we all seem to recall things a little bit differently, and maybe we add embellishments. Most stories that I tell about my life are rooted in truth, and occasionally, I don't lie, but occasionally you might embellish. Do what a stand-up comedian would do, and you want to make the story engaging, not just I went to the store, got cheese, and went home, but like you have to get that Stieg Larsson in there. You have to get that Haruki Murakami in there. You got to have that detail and add more personality, characterization to it. The tapes were a performance. You were performing back then, but now with the passage of time, so basically Louis is kind of positing that yes, the tapes were a performance, hence why it all fell to pieces. But now you're back here, I'm here now, and I'm willing to like recollect the events that transpired, but with added perspective and a different emotional like headspace. Wow. Literally just delete. Well, they're really gone now. Wait, that's a power now? And oh my god, what else can what have we got here? Spontaneous combustion. Vampires. Can't do sun. Can't drink dead blood. Can't enjoy human food. Super strength. They can read minds. They can mind meld with other vampires. They can read thoughts. Heightened senses. They can set fire to things just by looking at something and focusing on it. Slow aging. They cry blood. Jeez, I mean, with a sales pitch like this, why wouldn't you want to be a vampire? Man, there really is no going back. Dude deleted the files and he burned the tapes.
You were the prince of your district. Lestat chased an American icon out of town because he loved you. 1917 doesn't sound like it was such a bad year.
1917.
Rigged to burn.
It wasn't. It was a great movie.
Talk like you play, Mr. Lee.
Lestat filled in for Jelly the next night. He and Miss Brown dazzled the waiting Johns and invited their admirers back to the Rue Royale.
So the last one to leave never left.
No. He would do his killing away from me now.
Oh, well, that's considerate of him. I also love that little added fact that tracks literally by it adds again whether he's manufacturing it or not is up to interpretation. But the fact that the composer Jelly Roll Morton is they're saying that was the guy that was on the stage right there with them, and by using the same name, it does add credulity. It adds credulity to his claim that that little the ditty that Lestat like made up on the spot was adopted by Jelly Roll Morton for the Wolverine blues.
Out of respect, he said, for the choice I had made. Round and back.
Oh.
The frolicking repeated itself every night for 2 weeks.
Some
They would add another
snacks.
song to their set and work on another at night while I tried to adapt to my new diet.
Peter's gonna love it.
I barely had the energy to hold up a book. My libido was not what it had been. I understood the indulgence.
Mr. Louis, you have to convince Lestat to keep playing.
Got a better chance making a Mississippi run north.
We had a good run, but I did it for Louis. I do everything for Louis.
Yeah, I heard that about you, too.
Oh? What have you heard?
I'm not a gossip.
But I
Oh, sure.
Well, people at the Azalea, they say, you're confusing me.
Oh, come now. I don't buy.
How cheeky.
What do the employees at the Azalea say about Louis and Lestat?
I'll answer with a question. Are there 2 beds upstairs or 1?
Oh, well, there you go.
Do you want to find out?
No one goes upstairs, Miss Brown.
So word's spreading
Well, there's
around
my
town.
answer.
Still, what do you imagine confines us to a single note? Why not a chord? Why not a cluster?
Oh, see, I'm the same. I like all sorts. I like soft hands. I like burnished complexions.
Burnished complexions.
I like men called daddy.
Your blouse is soaked in champagne. Bad, Daddy.
Oh,
I was beginning to wonder about your manners.
yo. Ooh, like, what's I don't know what's more, the fact that he delivered that line, and at least from my perspective, not an ounce of cringe. Like, I was just like, oh no, Daddy, like, you know what? I understand the little stands. You keep on standing.
I'm hungry. Think I'm gonna get something to eat.
Is the animal market still open?
Ha, got
Enjoy
him.
yourselves. It's the purpose of living.
He gets that way when he's hungry.
I do love, again, it's all to their chemistry and the dynamic, but I love the little like banter now and the back and forth of like Lestat just, living his life and being like, all right, Louis, you keep on with your flights of fancy. I shall keep on living my life and enjoying the finer things. And there's Louis judging him in the corner, like little self-cucked voyeur. I mean, they're coexisting though.
She burn quick.
Kinda.
See for yourself.
Would you kill her? Oh,
A
Jesus.
dentist from Tallahassee. There's a dentistry convention in town.
So you didn't kill her?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
She has talents.
Oh, well, suddenly now you're coming around to that.
Are not enough?
Oh.
Don't laugh.
Wow.
Don't laugh.
Bro.
No. You have some squirrel on you.
No, don't.
Bro.
We'll be together 10,000 nights.
Dude, I mean, I get it. From his perspective, he's like, this is but a blip in our existence. But dude, like, not just laugh. Dude guffawed in his face. Come on with the disrespect.
100,000. What we're doing is hard. Anything that wards off the dullness of the everlasting road we walk. The pleasures of the flesh. The pleasures of the kill. For me. Pleasures of the good book by the fire for you.
I can smell her on you.
From time to time, I like a little variety.
Little bisexuality.
Sway.
I said it.
Oh, and a little bit of
Communicating so much better now,
a little bit of enforced loose polyamory, huh? The phrasing of that. It's like, am I not enough for you? Louis, we'll have our whole lives to have each other. For me, I like a little bit of variety. There, I said it.
Aren't we communicating so much better now? Like,
Oh my god, with this and like I can't say he thinks he's slick with it, because like low key he is slick with it, but charlatan. But also the way
So I can whoever I want.
Also, the way that Louis talking, though, I mean, he's seeing themselves as in a relationship together. He's embracing that part of it. I know that he's spoken to it in previous episodes by saying, I opened up to a man for the first time in my life. We've had these, I discussed things I never discussed before. Basically, with Lestat's encouragement, Louis has been progressively developing and growing his emotional intelligence and communication skills, and embracing his true intersexuality, which tells me that, like, I think Louis leans more towards fellas. I thought they were both bisexual. Lestat confirmed, like, after all these years, he's like, yeah, I'm bisexual for sure. Like, that's just, I enjoy pleasures of the flesh in any which way and direction. But Louis these days, I mean, I think mostly.
Of course.
Oh, I can't wait to see.
Of course.
I can't wait to see Lestat get jealous.
Of course.
Look at that.
As long as you come home to me. Of course.
Sorry, I didn't realize that Siobhan Roy was in this show right now.
While the domestic front simmered on diet and sanctioned infidelity, the Western Front started receiving American troops. New Orleans was the last stop before France for many young men.
Yikes.
And City Ordinance 4118 tried to ensure Uncle Sam's money went into the right hand.
I could Google it, or you could...
A hastily composed attempt by the city to segregate Storyville. It required that all prostitutes of colored or black race move their business across Canal Street. The very men who signed the ordinance into law were some of my best clients. It was an absurdity.
How'd you manage it?
I gave
Gotta love
5% of the business to my girls. Made them all owners.
How's that?
Oh.
Lawyer said if they were owners, we could file a writ saying 4118 was, how do you put it, Briggs?
Deprived us the use of our property without due process of law, denying us equal protection under the Constitution of these United States.
Amen to that, brother.
Like some kind of Russian Bolshevik scheme.
You diddled the man's money and he bought himself an end around. It's pure capitalism, Mr. Fenway.
Pure capitalism, Mr. Fenway. I want this vest, by the way. This outfit right here. Again, it's all the suits, all the outfits. Like I want all these outfits.
Unorthodox business mind under that hat, Louis.
All the more reason why I lean towards him in this situation. Again, we are only getting all the screen time that we're getting is with Louis. We're getting some development of Lestat, but really the only peaks into his character right now are what he tells us and his current actions and such. We've had no flashbacks, nothing else really. So I don't have a whole lot to judge his character except for what he presents right now to us, the audience. We're not getting Louis' entire backstory either, but we're getting his like becoming a vampire and what he was doing this time, and we're seeing like a bit of an arc of sorts.
No security guarding the doors. That's a woman counter's coin. No offense, Miss Williams.
Been called a cunny, a cow, and a bitch that ate 1,000 dicks. You want to apologize for calling me a woman? Ooh, leave your wife. I'll make you a happy man, Mr. Anderson.
Bricks don't take wooden nickels, and I'm the only security this place needs.
We're writing another ordinance. You know that, don't you?
Counselor's not your problem, Louis. Woodrow Wilson. This war he's backed us all into.
You think you're printing money here? It's hay pennies compared to what the build-ups brought the city. Just ask Mr. Anderson here.
Not as colorful as club ownership, but you'd be amazed at the high-power maids supplying the military camps with cigarettes, chocolates, and prophylactics.
Well,
oh, I know.
My part to see them Jimmy hats get used.
Secretary of the Navy doesn't see it that way. He's got 400 men over at Charity getting treatment for the clap.
I got pristine pussies walking my floor. Now I'm offended.
Washington's making us choose, Louis. It's either win the war or f the whore. Council's just stalling for time, chasing race.
Don't feel like a stall. Feel a little beside the point.
What's your game,
Feel
buddy?
like a boot on my neck.
He's one man on a council of 17, Louis.
Maybe he's still sideways because I turned down his 15%.
Oh. As much as they give him compliments because of his position and the success he's had, there's still, I think most people at that table are still seeing the color, you know, like clearly. I do appreciate, yeah, how now we're delving into like this time period in history. I'm terrible with history, like history, geography, my worst subjects back in the day. Louis is now forced to navigate the like the socio-political climate of the region, given the changes.
Jonah?
Oh, you know him. Sick. Oh, I'm calling it now. He's gonna like talk to him, get kind of buddy. I don't know how intimate things will get, but Lestat's gonna get jealous, and then when Lestat gets jealous, he gets violent. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Grace, you won't remember me?
Of course I remember.
Ooh, that suit! Oh my God, the full suit.
Twins. She got twin girls.
Barely keep her head straight. All those kids running around tugging at her dress. What about Paul?
Yeah. Paul. Where you been, Jonah?
Philadelphia for a spell, hotel work, and a gunpowder mill in Delaware. Fellow working next to me blew off 3 fingers. I saw enough.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, this might be a way to rise through the ranks and all that. Look like you already rose up.
Rise up.
Rise up.
Done all right.
Done all right. You want all this? Sign me up for done all right.
Dude, look at that. Drilling.
Think about those old days when we were a kid. How long you here for?
What'd you do in the old days, huh?
Couple nights. The boat over the ocean. Me and a couple thousand other fellas wearing this same costume.
You think this is nice? Wait till you see my pretty automobile.
Is that an official invitation? So I took him back to my humble abode in
Much
my
change here, I see.
Aruba.
Crickets and Katie did. Gonna ruin those sharp shoes in this mud. I got another pair back at home.
Not gonna kill him,
There's
surely.
nothing easy about my life, I tell you that.
I was gonna say it made me a bit nervous they took him out to the middle of nowhere, but it could also very well be to get down and dirty in the swamp and like do the business, like not back at home. But again, it's gonna trigger Lestat, right? Because Lestat was like, you can do whatever you want as long as you come back home. And
Worried about going over there?
Some nights. Me and my squad's all colored, so we mostly gonna be in the rear.
Better than getting shot at for a country makes you use the side of the trench.
And most of why I signed up is I kept hearing something about something they call European sensibilities. They care less what you look like, who you looking at.
Yeah, I got someone.
I figured as much. No ring on your finger?
Not a woman.
Well, what's he like?
He's a lot. It's not perfect, but we kind of have this agreement.
One of those you can drive out to the bayou kind of agreements?
yes, sir. Nice. We're gonna get down and dirty in the bayou. I swear if Lestat shows up. I mean, I certainly hope not, but I'm sure he'll be very upsetty spaghetti when Louis gets home. If Louis gets home. Uh-oh. Oh, no, but with the heartbeat. Oh, what if in the... Oh, but what if in the throes of this, he, like... Oh, because already, like, there's an association that sometimes when, like, Lestat and himself have made love, when it's, like, feeding, or there's also the pain and the pleasure. What if he loses control and, like, chomps into his friend's neck? Because he's hearing his heartbeat now. Oh, come on, buddy. Don't. And he's been... Oh. Yeah, I forgot what happens if you feed off of yourself. He restrained himself, though, I think.
Hello?
Hello. How was your evening?
How was your night?
Fine. Yours?
Fine.
Yeah, I know Lestat's gonna feel a certain kind of way.
You found me, you know.
An old love.
Mm-hmm. An old flame.
We had a few early fumbles. He was 16. I was older. We both knew even then we were a little different. How's Antoinette?
Tedious.
Hideous.
I don't see that happening again.
Damn.
These affairs always flame out. Shall we have a night out tomorrow?
These one
I
night
was gonna go see
stands.
Grace and the kids. Keep up appearances. How about after?
Fine. Lock us in, would you?
Many streets in New Orleans weren't paved at the time. The mud on his boots could have come from anywhere.
Was it raining that night?
Did he actually follow them? Did he actually watch?
Yeah, I got someone.
I figured as much.
I swear they
No
actually
ring on your finger?
follow
Not a
him out
woman.
there.
Did it rain?
Yeah, I got someone.
I figured as much. No ring on your finger?
Not a woman. I don't remember now. It could have been dry in the bayou and wet in the quarter. It's Louisiana.
The Odyssey of Recollection.
Uh-huh. Surprised that's not the name of the episode, honestly.
I would meet Jonah decades later.
Interesting. Oh, see, I love look if I don't know if they're gonna stick with this, but I love I love how they would do that right there. They by incorporating the theme of the episode, which is that ever growing question of is Louis Dupont du Lac a reliable narrator? And we've now introduced that term into this whole thing, the Odyssey of Recollection, and how memory can be faulty. It's the muddy boots in the corner, and then it like stop and you think. And then, like, literally, Malloy's trying to say, like, well, was it raining? Like, trying to ascertain, well, did Lestat follow you out there? Was he out there, like, stalking you in the bayou, watching or whatnot? And it's like he can't quite remember what the weather was like, what it was. And without showing us for sure if Lestat did or not, there's enough, like, of a feeling and intuition, and there's enough, like, clues there where like you can probably piece it together as an audience member and be like, yeah, it sounds like that's what happened, but without any actual like solid confirmation.
You're lingering, Rashid.
Apologies, Mr. Dulac.
What did he say when he met you again, when you were young and he wasn't?
What they all eventually say in one articulation or another.
Here comes the girls!
Party was this afternoon.
Seeing my invitation got lost in the mail.
You want to
Damn.
come around, you come around when people are awake.
It's barely dinner time. I don't want to make a fuss.
6 months and you just show up.
Here we go again.
You're not welcome in this home.
Wow.
I own this home.
Oh.
I'm the executor in charge, so welcome don't matter.
The devil walks at night.
What? What did you say?
Okay, mama.
What's going on?
I love you too,
I got
mama.
you girls some paper dolls.
Go back inside, son.
Son, I'm your son.
Let me handle this, Mama Dulac.
We don't.
Yo.
Coming off a little hot now.
I didn't come here to see you. I didn't come here to see you.
Louis.
Came here
They're
to see
afraid of
Grace.
you.
Get
That's
the girls.
why you didn't get
some
an
paper
invite.
dolls.
Well,
Go to your room.
great.
What did I tell y'all?
But I tell y'all, the devil.
There he is.
Oh,
There he is.
oof. Like she's not wrong in terms of like, sure, inner nature coming out in the heat of it, but that gets my blood boiling. I gave her an excuse at the funeral, like for the whole, where else are you gonna put your grief, right? Because you're looking for answers where there are none. Like I get it from their perspective, right? Louis has been like not been around, he's not been very present, he's different, but at the same time he's also like, in my perspective, someone who doesn't have the strongest family values in the world. He's living his own life and he's being a successful businessman. He comes and visits when he can and he tries to provide for family. And for the mom to be like, yeah, you never come around anymore, I was so terrible to you and you don't come around anymore, what's going on with that? And you only come out at night, you're the devil, ain't you? And right there he is. We didn't let him into his house to see Grace and the kids. There, that's right, there he is. Like, that gets under my skin.
Grace.
But so be it.
Grace.
Get out!
And unfortunately, what does that prove? That Lestat was partially right. Damn. Trying to keep him out from seeing the family, though. What's he doing that's wrong, aside from just not coming around a whole lot? But this is the unfortunate truth that you do admittedly have to accept in this circumstance, which is that you accepted, I think there's still a way to have the balancing act. I mean, if Lestat can put on airs and put up appearances and performances, I'm sure Lestat has balanced many social friendships and relationships in his long life as a vampire, right? I don't see why Louis wouldn't be able to be allowed to do the same thing. But yeah, again, it is a delicate balancing act, and unfortunately, this is feeding into this is coinciding with the narrative that Lestat's been feeding him, which is that you can't have it both ways. You got to accept, embrace who you are. Like, you got to accept that new way of life. Oh no, it's gonna be a massacre. Of course, he's only doing it to piss off Louis, and this is just musings for him. Just play the fool to get under Louis' skin, and now it's going to be an even further trigger given his night.
And when we see the enemy, we'll shoot them in the rear. What do you think?
Oh, I thought we could have an orgy. You can them and I can eat them.
What about the coffin?
Oh my God.
Would that require curiosity and intelligence? All these murderous slubs want is more wine and a German on their bayonet. Kill the Huns. Kill the Huns. I brought
Okay, see, I love this. This is Lestat winning me over as a character. I love it. That would require intelligence and curiosity, of which the only desire they have is a German on the end of their bayonet. Just humoring these dopey soldiers.
brought them back after they cut the electricity at the Azalea.
Love it.
Miss Bricktop wanted you to have this.
I think she's on to us.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Of course.
Get him out of here.
Everything's
Well,
slowly
now that I know
falling
you
apart.
have a type, I thought you'd be pleased.
Let's start.
Your wish is my command. What, mass mind control? Bro. Okay, add that to the list. Mass mind control. Oh, but it hurt. It takes a toll. I mean, I suppose it would. That's a lot of power output. Dude, he's pale.
Oh joy, oh boy, where do we go from here?
That shit drained him.
Not funny.
What can I say? I'm a lot. I'm not perfect.
Damn, he was there.
I knew you were there.
Yes.
You jealous?
Yes. I don't like sharing.
What about Antoinette?
It's different. I don't have feelings for her.
He did me some face and I drove him home.
I heard your heart stamping!
You watched the whole thing like some creeper.
And then I watched you pull over and drain a dog and run down an alleyway for 2 more rats! This is not a life!
That's because you took my life! I got nothing! I lost everything! I lost my brother! I lost my family! About to lose the last fucking thing I care about.
Ooh. Yikes. Well, yeah, we all knew. We knew it's like, oh, I don't mind sharing. But, like, also to go from, like, oh, I slept with her. I didn't have feelings for her. And that's kind of the risk of polyamory in general. I don't want to get on, like, a soapbox about anything and make any judgment calls. You do you, boo-boo. You guys and gals do you. Speaking personally from myself and from what I observed, my observations in the world around me, if you can make that work and you're, like... If you are able to find 2 partners who love each other and are able to have the emotional security and intelligence to have a polyamorous relationship work, good for you. But the odds, I mean, Jesus, like, over 50% of monogamous marriages end in divorce. Like, it gets, if you try your hand at polyamory, it's messy, man. Both in theory and practice and all this. And this is like, this is a fictitious example, but I mean, that's what they're, kudos to them for trying. But yeah, because you can't help but, like, you'll get jealousy in there. And then it's like, oh, but then, like, who do you love more? Who do you like more? Who do you enjoy being with physically more? And then there are the favorites. And then there's the sharing and the care. Like, there's just, I'm not against it, like, by all means. Like, but believe me, I'm aware that most things that we have as taboo in society are just these labels that we put on things as human beings, and these are just like social limiters that we choose to adhere to for lack of for not wanting to make things awkward or different. But I'm talking in circles now, but that's the nature of a polyamorous relationship or attempting one. Yeah, no. Even if both one party says, "Oh, well, I'm sleeping around," but there aren't any feelings there. There's like, if you're getting to a point where you want to like screw somebody, right? I mean, like, look, I participated in hate sex myself, but like, there was still my personal experience. If you don't like somebody, if I don't like somebody, I don't really have a desire to sleep with them. And there's got to be some type of attraction there in most cases. How else is the prick gonna go doing, like, it's just like.
How am I supposed to get bodies in the door without hookers, hoochie
Oh, here we
You
go.
were given a courtesy and you ignored it.
Finn O'Shea.
Oh, here we go. And he's going to stand over here and be like, Mr. DePont du Lac. Now, he's about to kill John DiMaggio over here.
A man who used to work for me. Got a dirty house across the street. City ain't shut off his lights.
Finn O'Shea serves sandwiches at his bar that makes him a supper club.
In time, Mr.
here we
O'Shea
go.
moved his business Riverside Basin Street, along with everyone else.
Oh, so you just starting with the color businesses then?
It does appear businesses run by white gentlemen are thriving.
I tried to persuade the city council.
Sure you
Said it
did.
was short-sighted at best. This tedious Negro, still clinging to his Creole heritage like a life raft.
Wow.
Might I suggest, Mr. Duloc, that you move your operation to the quarter. Just keep your girls out the windows.
Who do you suggest gonna sell me a property in the quarter?
Make Mr. Leoncourt here the public face of your operation.
This is Louis' hobby, not mine.
There's, shall we say, a clannish majority amongst the property holders in the quarter. Maybe old Tom here had it right. Maybe in the end, Louis, you're a dumb pimp who got robbed blind years ago. It's been the break, I'm afraid.
Jeez. Be ashamed
Did you
of.
sell me the azalea because you knew this day was coming, Tom?
You put a sir on the end of that. And he sold you the fair play for a price you set.
You put a sir on the end of that. You get out of town with. Yeah, again, I told you they're all just putting up a polite face. The poker, like during the poker nights, like when the chips are down. Literally, when the chips are down.
You ain't answering my question, Tom.
We're all in this together, Mr. Duloc. I'll be happy to buy the property back from you.
Of course.
Say 15 cents on the dollar.
Cute.
When your mother sees the devil in your eyes, it's a hard assessment to abandon. Am I from the devil? Is my very nature that of the devil? I'd hedged against the question, but now it completely overwhelmed me.
We don't need the money.
It's not about that. You think I'm gonna let that snake bite me and my people?
You have your investments on the Claiborne Avenue.
Hats, little grocery stores, nickels, dimes, quarters.
See, each of them have their own triggers. Like Lestat's whole thing is that he gets super triggered when there's like an affront to the arts and to creativity and humanity and all that. It strikes a nerve in his brain, and then he feels a need to rid the world of that. And then Louis, a different upbringing, different social and like racial circumstances here. His whole thing is when he feels disrespected and when he feels that there are people because he couldn't even bleed a murderer, right? We only saw him act out the way that he did when when he was trying to kill the salesman who he felt bad about afterwards. But club owner, who was the guy that he was advising? It might have been a club owner, but he was a prominent figure in the entertainment in the industry there. He patronized Louis and he talked down to him and he disrespected him, and there was that racial overtones in the dialogue, and that triggered Louis, and that's when he straight up murdered a guy. And now here we are again, the classic old white men bringing the black man down in this case, and trying to literally actively screw him out of the business, and potentially doing so in what can be only seen as a long con. So yeah, now Louis that's what gets his blood boiling.
I'm gonna speak for the girls and say, as minority owners, that's a stupid fucking business plan.
This state I was in.
Damn.
I was manic. You put up a sign like that, you're inviting chaos. And the hubris on display caused me to neglect my thirst.
This cease and desist order is granted by the New Orleans Council of Aldermen for the final infraction.
And in neglect, my thirst grew hotter. Temples throbbed, and finally, I could not stand it any longer.
What broken windows?
Oh, here we go.
And I was through struggling.
Wow.
And thuggish behavior will not be tolerated. We have families and service members nearby, and as for their concern,
Dude, my blood's boiling too, man. Oh my god. It still happens to this day. God, I'm not gonna get into a whole thing about it, but just I'll leave it at this. It's a goddamn shame the racial injustices that have occurred the way that they have been for as long as I can remember. Man, I'm like, dissenting opinion is one thing, and to be able to have people that disagree with you is another thing. And that's all fine, sure, but like, man, it just why can't we all get along? Like,
Rats, cats, dogs would no longer suffice.
Baton Rouge supports the actions of the
oh,
city
we're killing
council as
him.
well.
Take a black man in America, make him a vampire, with that vampire and see what...
Of course, but we'll all take pleasure in seeing this man go down. And you know what? Yeah, I'm okay with that. These are the ones worth killing. Go for it. These fat cats getting rich off the blood, sweat, and tears of... Oh, that was great. Oh, but he's gonna feel like...
Breaking into my home is one thing.
He's gonna feel nice and safe, though. He thinks it's untouchable. What's this boa gonna do in the corner? Like, just you wait.
Just you wait. Just you wait.
No, I want Louis to take his time, though. No, I want Louis to see. Oh, catch me right now being a hypocrite. Isn't that interesting? I think now I would argue and say this circumstance is different, right? But interesting how I judge Lestat so harshly for taking the tenor, right, from the opera and bleeding him slow and just like draining him of his life and his blood and slowly guiding him towards the cradle of death. But now, and I'm like poo-pooing that, being like, how dare. Here we are. What's my first gut instinct, my bloodthirsty reaction? I'm like, oh, come on, Louis, make it I literally said it. I said, make it slow. Like, make sure it like lasts. The difference there is that, like, I'm sure the tenor, the artist, and this fat cat here are two very different people. That's why I would condone this more. But arguably, it is the same action being done, if that is the course of action he takes. But it's funny how I'm like, my bloodlust would be quenched by that. But then I was like, oh no, Lestat, don't kill the artist, though. Like, interesting. So now we know where MovieMan's line is, don't we?
Making me drop my Atherton. Now that's a new blow.
Oh, is that right?
You're here to threaten me, I suppose. You think I have a vendetta against you, against your race? Well, think that if you must.
Let him talk. Just let him talk.
Storyville is the sinking ship. And naturally, you are the first to drown.
Is that right?
But that's your problem, Louis.
Naturally.
Always has been. You're arrogant. You haven't accepted your place in this world.
Okay.
And your pale lover with his seemingly endless supply of capital. And the weird goings-on in your sodomite townhouse won't change the fact that you're a tiny man flying too close to the sun. And that's what I am, Louis.
The sun?
The sun.
Oh my God.
Walk away.
Oh.
Why's your heart beating so fast?
Everything that's been done is legal under the City of New Orleans Charter.
No, he's moving to his desk for a gun right now. He's scared. He's scared right now. This is great.
And I'm merely
I'm sorry.
alderman on that council.
A little Derringer.
There's a harder way of doing this.
You're thinking about your wife and your two daughters and how fortunate it is that they're away in your winter home. It is fortunate. I'll let you reload.
Nice. Oh, nice.
You said I'm arrogant? Maybe I am arrogant. What are you?
The devil?
I'm a vampire.
Oh. Accepted what he was. Oh, Jesus. Damn. Yeah, but then who's going to be prime suspect number 1 now? Yeah, see? Well, now it's war. Nice.
I must confess, I'm very proud of you, Louis.
Of course you are. That's pretty great. Retaliation in Storyville. The mayor. Oh, that was the mayor. I didn't hear that in the conversation. I probably talked over it. I didn't realize he was. Oh wait, but there's quotes around that. The mayor of Storyville found slain in home. What do you mean in home? He was mounted on a gate. Blood drained, brutal murder shock city. Crime poised to set off race riot. That he drew it out a little bit and made sure there was like lots of pain there. And like, I'll let you reload. Like, that's pretty good. But just kind of drew it out just enough. Mainly like let him have like all the fear leading up to the eventual slaughter.
It goes against much of my teaching, but you managed to execute it with such aplomb.
I didn't do it for me. I did it for my city, my people. Destroy our businesses and buy the land for cheap. I know what they're doing.
So that torturous death was for your people? That garish display of his body like some public art piece was for your people?
I didn't see this coming.
Is that right?
Save that life for yourself. Did you not smile when he begged?
Yeah.
Did you not feel pleasure as you carved him up?
Of course
Maybe
you did.
You saw it coming and didn't stop me.
It's very personal.
Maybe you went quiet on purpose.
You did what you did because it gave you pleasure.
Got a point.
Companion of the dark gift. Finally, we should make this our anniversary.
Anniversary? That out there, that's on me.
Oh my
Well,
God.
yes, but you merely provided them the excuse. So as I said, toss them into circumstance, they go for the throne.
And that's why you and me ain't ever gonna work. That's why you're always gonna be alone.
Well, okay, I don't know if you need to be that intense about it.
I ran from the quarter that night. Ran to where the violence spread most wild. I stumbled through the streets like an irrational child who had tested his strength on a small bird and now asked, can I make it whole again?
Can I help you? Please let me help. Don't help. Just run.
It was I who should pay for this sin. And then one of those inconceivable moments where who you were before and who you will be forever after is marked in time. A rooming house, now a fire trap. I could not save the Azalea. I could not save Storyville. I could not save the aunt on the wrong side of the wall, but I could save her. My light, my Claudia, my redemption.
Interesting. That's so much to reckon with, though. Like, literally, by one murder of a very prominent figure in town, that was already one thing. But then to set it up as the public display that it was and trigger a race riot. But then, of course, like, from a racial standpoint, I mean, it seemed like blacks were like pretty outnumbered. They were hurting the most there. They were running terrified in the streets and burning alive in their homes as, you know, these white folk going around, like, burning it all down. To reconcile with that, oh my God. And I feel bad for Lestat in that one bit, like that you can tell, like in his eyes especially, like because like there is some truth in what he said. Not just, I think at the Opera House, initially I thought he was talking about isolation and being alone to kind of like emotionally manipulate further and reel Louis in, but I think there's a grain of truth to that because we discussed it. It's like the type being a vampire, being an immortal being. Period. That's kind of. That inherently comes with that territory. That's part of the life, right? And then just to look him in the eye and be like, "That's why you'll be alone," and run. And then that's somebody who like Lestat like cares about Louis. I think to an extent, Lestat does like love Louis in his own way. It's a lot of mixed emotions right there.
This is all about vampire identity. That's what Louis is dealing with in this episode. Who am I? How am I going to be a different kind of vampire than Lestat? Is it possible? What if we just ate the worst people in the world? What if we had some sort of moral architecture around our killing? It's a pretty chippy thing he does at the beginning, which is said, let's go kill the worst people. Then we find one of the worst people, and even then, he doesn't want to do it. So he eats a cat. That's sort of a horse thing to pull up. What are you really after here? Oh, you're ashamed. Okay, fine. In New Orleans, he's never even said he's a vampire yet. Won't even say the word.
All the more reason why him fully saying it as a response to old DiMaggio there in the office. Like that's why it was all the more meaningful. Was in that moment. I don't know if it was full acceptance, but at least in that very moment, he's like, no, this is what I am.
The fraught complexities of what happens when you are with the right/wrong person. The Azalea is his last little bit of humanity, but these blue laws are coming in. There was a call from Washington to kind of say, we need to move this back underground. The cutting away of everything you thought was your life. I am being removed from my family. Storyville's beginning to crumble. Maybe I am a vampire. And here is a person who has decided to with me directly, and I'm gonna take it all out on him. A little bit like Lestat in the church, he lets these predatory instincts get the way better of him. He is in a mania when that is happening.
He took to it so naturally, didn't he? He was brilliant in that scene. It was great. Like, it's just, he embraced his nature, and kid's a natural.
The club is the last thing that he had, the last bit of humanity, and that's about to be taken away from him. Who is he? Unleashes all that rage that's inside him. He does finally come to a very tortured conclusion. When he finally lets it loose, great reverberations come back from it.
Of all the times.
That lead to a lot of pain and anguish for his city, and it rolls back on people that he formerly would have said were his people in this world, and is wandering around in a very, very dark, near suicidal place. And then there's this meeting that happens, and there is a chance for some new thing to pour the best parts of yourself into.
In this moment, he was like, perhaps if I can save somebody, there's some redemption in that. There's some purpose. Is my very nature that of the devil? Is it indeed? No, I do love this. I think one of the best parts about this show, why I love not only watching it and why it's so enjoyable, especially when it's well written in this circumstance. Not just like, oh, we're vampires now. You're a vampire. Be a vampire and do this thing. I don't want to kill. You should kill. Okay, I guess I'll kill. Like, there's genuine self-reflection, conversations to be had around humanity, what it means to be this way, between Lestat preaching about being these higher elevated light forms and Louis trying to hold on to what's left of his humanity, and both parts reconciling that with each other. It's just, I love watching that dichotomy play out. It's great. Another solid episode. Got me feeling the same rage deep down in his core as well. As always, thank you so much for the love, the support, the engagement. Let's talk about it. And like, truth be told, even if people don't agree with me, and if people want to like have call outs, or we want to like have discussions or arguments in the chat or what have you, by all means, please do. Like, I will gladly have conversations with anybody, especially if they're of dissenting opinion. Like, now granted, I'll be the first to admit, you can ask my friends this, I have a very strong personality, and I am quite stubborn, and I can sometimes be bullheaded, but I would like to think that if presented with like logical conversation and arguments, I can come around to different points of view and opinions, and I can be swayed one way or the other. Potentially, I still make an opinion based off how I'm feeling, and I'll still make assertions and what have you. I don't let other people like dictate how I experience things or feel about things, but I'll definitely have the conversations. By all means, subscribe for more content. If you hit the bell, you'll be notified whenever I post anything, whether it's movie reviews, reaction content, the few and far between book read-throughs, game playthroughs, etc. Instagram, if you want to see my various exploits, and I try to like share like succinct movie reviews on there to kind of give you a general idea of what I'm watching, what I've seen, what I would recommend, etc. Twitch.tv/MovieMan101 if you ever want to try to catch me live when I'm gaming. I try to do a little bit of everything, and I'm burning the candle at both ends, but I'm enjoying life, so I guess that all evens out, right? My Patreon is officially live. I'm slowly uploading my backlog of reaction content. I'll be also uploading this current content with like ad-free, uncensored, fully uncut, like no fun edits either, just like the straight raw footage of me reacting long form to these episodes, just basically like a longer version of what you're watching right now if you're into that type of thing. And if you support certain tiers that are higher, then we're even looking at full-on like movie commentaries basically in the future. So thank you guys and gals so much for watching. Appreciate the support. Love you all as always, and hopefully you have a good rest of your day, night, what have you. In any case, goodbye, travelers.